Okay, so all the recording will be uploaded into Canvas. At least by the end of the week, you will see the link is there, right? Okay. So there's no prerequisite for this module. Basically, this module is very easy to score high marks unless you do not submit or your project doesn't work. Okay. Right. So there's no lab session, but however, if you need to go into lab, please make sure you wear cover shoes and long pants. Cover shoes and long pants. Okay, this one you can read from the canvas. There's a cost structure inside there. This one you read lah. Important is these 4 learning outcomes. Why? Because this is how we design the question, how we design the test 1, test 2, final exam. So for your test 1, you will link to number 1 and number 2. So number 1 will be more about the models, theories on project management. Then test 1 question 2 will link you with the project manager role, means organization chart and all this. Okay, so this is test 1, question 1, question 2. Test 2 will be CL3, CL4, question 1, question 2. So test 2, you'll be doing some calculation on the scheduling cost implication. Then question 2, test 2, you'll do some project development answer, means you need to design the projects in the essay form. Okay, so this is test 2, question 1, question 2. Final exam 4 question, question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4. Previously got 5 question, 3 choose 1, 5 question, compulsory 3, choose 1 from the 2 question. But we already changed the structure since last week, last semester. We already changed to 4 questions. So no choice lah, you have to answer all. Okay, so this is my contact. If you want to come and see me. I didn't put my phone here because the material will go online. I don't wish people to spam me. So I don't. Okay, my phone number 012-425-0759. If you need to come and see me, WhatsApp me. Introduce yourself first. Don't straight away ask me question. Just text, hi, I'm from what class? Can I see you when? My consultation hours is lunchtime. So of course, if you want to see me Thursday, Friday, also can. I'm free on Thursday and Friday. After we move the Friday class, then I'm free on Thursday and Friday. So, but text me first before you come. Right. Okay, so this is how we assess you. For this module, a bit different from other module. You have 60, 40. Other module, you final exam very high. This module, you need to do projects in your coursework. So coursework component is higher than final. So if you do not submit your coursework, you cannot pass this module. Your marks will be very, very low. Okay. So coursework, you have 30% of the coursework, 30%. So coursework means you need to design something, a product that works, and you need to generate a report for that. Okay. So far, no student fail yet, because most of them are able to produce. However, there is a C grade last semester because the prototypes doesn't work. So you want to score high, you make sure your prototype works. So I ask you to design something. Last semester, what they do walk along rider, right? So one group doesn't work. So when your prototype doesn't work, this one I will start marking from half of these marks. Means the maximum marks for you will be 15 over 30. That is the maximum mark I can give you. So if your prototype doesn't work, your report sucks, or your reports is not very good, you will fail the projects. Means you are 20% less if you are weak in these projects. Means your teamwork doesn't work well, your doesn't communicate with your teammate. Then by the due date you doesn't submit. Then that's it. This one 20 marks out of 100 gone already. So make sure your projects works. This is the judgment for, the how we value your projects. You have to make sure your prototype works. All right. Then tests, you have two tests in this module, test 1 and test 2. So each one 10%. Assignment 10%. This one basically is a bonus mark. Module in that I handle. Assignment, this one I will extract from all the lecture notes. Means every chapter we have tutorial question inside our lecture. So I will extract the question from the lecture material. So basically for assignment, if you copy and copy into the, you need to handwritten, take photo, convert into PDF. Write on a piece of paper, or you can write on your pad, convert into document in PDF form, right? So basically the answer is there already, just for you to put inside this assignment. Of course, some of the answer, for example, you need to do substitution, all this, you need to give the full answer in the assignment. On my slide, sometimes I don't go through the derivation steps, I don't go through the substitution, I straight away give you the answer. But for assignment, you need to give me the steps, the working steps. This one. Okay. So basically, 60%, if you do your work, let's say projects, you do your work, you roughly will get more than 15. Tests, if you do so maybe 15 out of 20. Assignment, normally 10%. Normally you get full marks. Unless you doesn't submit, you forget to submit, straight away 0. So in our module, due date is important. If I say 5 p.m. means 5 p.m. You submit, and the time is referring to Canvas. The date, the time that you submit on Canvas, if you late 1 minute, also consider no submission. So, but again, this assignment I'll put in week 13. So the date of the assignment, all this due already put in the Canvas already. Okay. So then the final exam, 30%. Sorry. Assignment is 40%. Type error here. 40%. Also changes already 4 questions, not 5 questions. Okay, so final, you need to get 40 out of 100. Means in the final, 4 questions, 25, 25, 25, 25. Total, you need to get 40 out of 100 to pass. This is the first criteria. Second criteria, you need to get 50 out of 100. Take this one plus this one, you need to get 50. So here, at least you'll get the 40 out of 60 if you are a normal student. You get 40 out of 60. So you only need to get 10 marks from here. 10 marks from here. Okay, so these are the title. We will go through week by week. Okay. Then in so this is a short semester, but we are now in long semester. Your group projects presentation will be in week 10. Submission or report will be in week, means you present, you submit, you present in the class, you present your prototypes, make sure your prototype works. Then your report you can submit in week 11 or week 12. We decide that one. Okay. Then we have revision on the last week. means week 14 we have revision class. Okay. So I'll give you enough time lah for your projects. I'll give you enough time. Next class, I will brief you on your projects already. Today, I'll just give you some introduction or some theory. Okay, so these are the textbook that we'll be using, right? Okay, so for the group, for the projects, we need to wait until maybe after week 2 next week. The name list will be stabilized. All right. So if I take this one, Imran, Robin not here. Who is here and not signed? Okay, make sure you sign. Okay, let's say I have 9 students in the TCMS. So if I have 9, maybe three people in one group. So you can start finding your group member. 3 member, you form one group for the projects. Make sure you choose the right members. And if you think, sir, can I do two member or not? Because I cannot work with that guy. The answer is yes. You can choose 2 members if you don't want to work with another guys. Maximum 3 members, minimum 2. You form your group. Okay. Because I don't want free rider, I don't want ghost member. So if you think you're now you're in your last few semester already, you already know who can do work, who doesn't, who always rely on somebody contribution. Then take this opportunity, form your groups, and if at the end you are the single one, then no choice, you have to do your individual report, individual projects. You have to persuade someone. If at the end you are the only one, then you need to persuade. I try to make it as group projects, because for this module, as you can see here, in the course structure, this project doesn't mention it need to be in group. So you need to find a group. Of course, I hope at least you can find 2 members, maximum 3 members. Okay. Okay, let's do the first theory today. Okay. So first few class we'll do about some theories and all this. So today we will look into a little bit. Maybe today we do 1 hour lecture lah. Then we call it a day, right? Right. Now, what is projects? Again, this module, this subject is a lot of theory. It's quite boring things. So it's also you memorize, then you throw it in the exam, something like that. So you just memorize, then you work in. So this module, you need to think like a management student or business student. The first part. Second part, when it comes to projects, it come to design, product design, then you think as an engineer. This module, most of the part you need to think as a business owner. You need to think as a project manager. Okay, that is the thinking lah you need to have. Okay. All right. Now, all this you can read. What is projects? Projects, I think most of you are now taking your FYP 1. So FYP 1 is a projects. All right. So project will have what? Will have objective. Will have a value. In the project management, you stand in the direction of owners, business owners, from project manager. So you are talking about business value. Business value. For your FYP also, you need to think, is there any business value in your FYP project or not? although your supervisor doesn't mention that. So if your projects can bring some commercial value, means you need to think, after you complete your FYP, then what? If you cannot answer that one, means your project is not a high value projects. So when it comes to not high value projects, when it comes to your Viva, when it comes to a presentation, when it comes to your um, assessment, then maybe your marks will be not as high as you expected. Right? So you need to think of the objective, value, and then complete with certain spec. There's a specification when talk about projects. This is the first one. Second one, there will be dates, starting date, end date there. So every project, when you have dates, you need some tools to monitor the progress. So what tools you use? Normally it's Gantt chart. Okay. So projects have a few characteristics. Right. So this one maybe can become one question already. Okay. We'll ask you, give the definition of the projects. One line, 10 marks. All this point you have to write. Okay. So in this module, don't use point form in your answer. Unless the question mentions something, for example, ask you 5 factor. So 5 factor, you need to explain. First factor what, second factor what. You don't give dot, 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 then no explanation. Then very low marks for that. Don't use dot, don't use point form in your answer, unless the question is a point form question. For example, it asks you very simple, some criteria in what is the criteria of a successful project. So you list up 5 points, for example. Okay, so projects have the first one, second one, date, third one will have funding limits if applicable. For example, we look at civil engineering. Mechanical, most of the time is fabrication of something, a machine. So there will be a budget. Another word for funding is budget. So for your FYP also, you need to come up with a budget, with the costing of your projects. Okay, so in your FYP, remember, go and think how much money I need to put inside there. Okay, then this one, so this one you need to talk to your supervisor. Then this one, you have a resources you need to think about. Then it can be multifunctional. Multifunctional, what does it mean? So again, you cannot think like an engineer when you come to this module. You need to look at the organization chart. So this is a typical organization chart. Okay. So this is a big boss. This is the department head. So this is you can be a department, right? So this is staff. Okay. So department, you have marketing, you have R&D, you have engineering department, and so on. In this module, each one of these department, we call it functional unit. So from today onwards, when you see functional or function unit or functional unit, it means department. So when you answer question in a test 1, test 2, final exam, we rarely use department. We'll use functional something, functional units or functional manager, and so on. When you see functional manager, means department manager lah. Okay. So again, projects, summarize. What is projects? Because you're studying about project management, so definition of projects, it must have objective, it must have value, it must have specification, must have date, must have some funding, funding including resources here, and you work with multifunctional department. Okay, so these are the keywords for projects. All right. Again, this module is lots of theories. So those that you can read, I will just go very fast. So all the material, I use this textbook, not textbook, but this guidebook that published by the Project Management PMI, Project Management Institution. So basically, if you study material that I teach in class, you can go and get certification for the project management certification, right? But not all lah. It's just maybe 60% of the project management, right? But most of the material and question will refer to this one, right? So just now we define about projects. Project has specification and all this just now. So management is what? You add in the word management means application already. Application to do what? Application to achieve project requirement, right? All this you read lah. So all these knowledge, skill, tools, they are under process. Under process. All right. Now again, in project management, first part of this module, don't think as an engineer. You think as management level kind of things. You don't go deep into technical things for the first part of this module. You talk about theory, talk about how you manage projects. And you think like a manager. So again, the wording that we use in our answer is important, or the question is so important. Sometimes I ask you, what are the 5 process group in project management? 5 process group means when they handle project, there are some phrases. But in the answer, in the question, we don't use phrases. We'll use 5 process group. So first one, you initiate, you start the projects. You start the projects. So second one, you do plannings. All this you read lah. And you have to know how to elaborate the points. So first one, you initiate. Second one, you do planning. The third one, you execute. Fourth one, monitor and control. Last one, you close it. These 5 process, it's under 5 process group. Yeah. So when you talk about project management, this 5 process is important. This 5 process is important. Yeah. So there's a class rules in our class. You come in 15 minutes, you consider late. You come in 30 minutes, you consider absent. Right? And you need 80% to sit for final, just as a reminder. Right? Okay, so 5 process: initiate, planning, execute, monitor, close. These 5. So when I mark your question, when I mark your answer, I will only go for the correct keyword. So for example, I ask you, elaborate the 5 process group in a project management. So you need to write these 5. So I'm looking for project initiation, project planning, project execution, project monitoring and control, and project closer. If you write close, you get the wrong answer. I'm looking for project closer. If you write project close or close project, also wrong answer. I'm looking for this one. Right? So these are the keyword. This one, for example, project execution, you can write executing project also. I give you correct, as long as it doesn't run away from this one. So sometimes it depends. It depends. on this one also. Okay, so when you start the projects, what you need to do? Again, you need to think as a manager, you need to think as a project manager for the first part of this module, for the first 7 weeks of this module. Right? So when you start the projects, you need to know what resources you have. Selection of best project given, resources limited. Normally, when you start a project, resources is limited. So you need to know which your resources can complete what kind of projects. So this is you need to choose the best project for it, right? So later there's a definition for successful projects. So you need to link this line with the successful projects. How to complete it. Second one, you need to evaluate what is the benefit to the company, why you want to do it. Okay, so there's only one thing in a business: profit. 7-Eleven, the dollar sign. So this benefit here, in short, is benefit. In short, is profit. But again, in your answer, don't write profit. You write profit, I give you wrong answer. Again, this module, I'm looking for keyword. You need to show me the keyword. Don't use your own word. Very particular for the keyword there. Right. Then you need to know what document you need to submit for bidding the projects. Right. And you as the owner of the company, you need to assign the project manager. So before you start, at the starting phrases, you need to know whether this is a good project or not. The first assessment, whether this one is a good project for the company or not. For example, you are a car manufacturer, but you're getting a project doing some fabrics, polymer projects. That is not a good project. Means it doesn't meet with your core business value. All right. Recognize again benefits of the projects. When you do this project, what does it brings to the companies? Right. So just now I mentioned profit. Profit is just one part of the benefit. You need to think of the technology you have, know-how of the company, and so forth. Then this is a document. This one is for the bidding of the projects and assignment of the project manager. Now, once you have all this already, once you assign the in charge person for the projects, then the rest is lay to this person. This part is more on the management, top management things. Then once you assign this one, this person, project manager, in future we'll use PM, not Prime Minister, PM, project manager. So PM, he will do the same thing of this also to start the projects. So before this project manager go to the next phase, he need to assess all these things. Then only he can do the planning. Okay. Now the rest of this is managed by this person, PM, not by the boss, not by the owners. So when you do plannings, you need to do all these things. What are the requirements? What is the customer requirement? What is the quality and quantity? These are the two things that differently. All right. What are the resources you need? What is the time frame you need? And what are the risks if you do it? Can we complete it or not? So this is part of the test also. There will be a question asked you to assess whether this project can go or no go. There's a calculation for that. You get positive value, go for it. Negative value, reject. Risk, this scheduling also. Can it complete within 10 weeks, or what is the probability of completing in 10 weeks or 7 weeks? You calculate the probability. So this module, you don't need very high mathematics skill. Go and study statistics. This graph. What is sigma? Okay, go and do revision. Statistics. What is standard variation, variant, and so on. Normal graph, normal distribution. Okay, try to think and then how to find the value in the chart. Okay, the Z value and so on. What does it mean? So go and do revision. I assume you already know how to do this one already. So maybe after today, go and flip your mathematics textbook, go and see how to do statistics. Statistics problems. All right. Okay, these are the plannings. The third one, execution. When you execute, you need, again, when you answer this one, you need to think as a project manager, PM. You are the project manager. So you need to negotiate with the project teams member with these functional groups. Okay, where is a PM or project manager sit on? Be here. But again, as we go deeper, there were different kinds of organization charts. This is a very general, traditional factory setup. Okay. Then you managing the work. This one, directing and managing is not project manager works. Is the department head job. But again, we do not use department head in this module. We'll use functional group manager. Yeah. So in your answer, don't use department head. Use department head, I circle, I put a question marks. I don't know what you're talking about. Right? So if you are referring to department head, use functional unit manager or functional manager. Okay. So this one, managing, directing, this one is all the technical guys works on. Your PM, you as a PM, your work is to make sure the project runs smoothly. That is your main priority. Okay. Then complete these 5 processes. That is your work. Make sure that is go through all this. So working with team members and help them to improve. This one is again functional manager works. Your job is to work with the head here. Your job is to work with the head here. Not until this stage. You as a project manager, you don't go into the production floor and ask the operator, you do this to do that. No. Your job is to negotiate with this one. Okay. Then you monitoring control. This is project manager works. You monitor the progress. So there's a tools for you to monitor. For example, Gantt chart, project progress chart, and so on. Right. Then you compare the progress by outcome. You have a time frame there. So time frame, first 3 months, what you need to achieve. After 3 months, what you should achieve, and so on. So you keep analyzing throughout the process. You analyze the variance and impact of the projects. For example, if you're a factory in Kuantan or Pahang states, recently we had a flood. So when flood come in, how do you mitigate the risk, for example? So making adjustment and so on. So these are the project monitoring and control. And you close it. You need to make sure there's a checklist that all the work has been done. You need to verify that it's work. So you as a project manager, how you know that the project can be closed or at the close stage is that the sign off of your customers. Means your customer sign off, then okay. In a more simplified way, if you go and buy laptop or buy handphone, how you know that the transaction have been closed? How you know? Receipt. right? You pay and then they give you a receipt. So in the project terms, it's also same. When you close a project, there will be some paperwork you need to do. Client need to sign off. Need to sign off the projects. If it's the construction one, the developers need to sign off the contractor works. So the buyers also need to go and check whether there's a defect or all this. Okay, so we will deal with contract in this module. So there are lots of contracts. Usually it's also one of the popular question in final exam. You need to explain, there are 5 to 6 types of contract. You need to explain 3 types out of 6 contracts in detail, in detail. So that one can be one question alone, ask you about contract, right? So then finance closer, this one is means the payment already done. Finance side already closed. And administrative closer of the paperwork, this one including the closing ceremony, for example. Right? So these are the things that you need to understand. Right. Now this module, the answer is basically most of the time is in essay form. In essay form, how we mark your things is through all these keywords. You need to elaborate all these keywords by applying to that scenario. So the question will be give you one scenario. For example, you are the project manager of Nike shoes, for example, and you need to deliver the project so and so and so. So this question by these 5 process, you need to elaborate. So elaborate the 5 process in the project management for the Nike's new projects, Nike shoes new projects. So this can be these 5 points. You elaborate. If you only mention all these points without elaborating, then you're going to get half of the marks. We are actually evaluate your understanding, but by looking at whether you know how to elaborate all these points or not. For example, Nike shoes. Give you a Nike shoes, a new products to launch by the end of the next 2 weeks, next 2 months. So how you initiate? You mention. So I give you the company name and the owner and so on. So you elaborate this one, right? So you can jump the sequence one, as long as you mention these 4 points. So you say, okay, so the project initiation was started by selecting Mr. Kamal as project manager. In the statement already say was assigned. So you need to mention, okay, first one, project initiation, what happened? You assign project manager, who is this one? So what is expected from this project manager? All right. Then in the initialization, so the team need to management team need to recognize the benefit of these projects by assessing what is this new projects can bring new revenue to the company. Then selection of the best projects. This one, the keyword here is comparing the resources you have. So this new design that you need to launch for the next 2 months, the team need to assess the resources in the factory. Whether we have the resources here, not only equipment, resources here, including the technology, the know-how, the people that you have in your companies, right? So this one you can elaborate on the IP, intellectual properties that you have in the companies. Then this one, the team will prepare document to sanction the projects, including the bidding projects, the appointment letter from the Nike companies, because you are the manufacturer, you take the project from Nike. So you need to have an appointment letter from them or a project initiation letters from them. So this one, you elaborate this. Then you go to project plannings. This you elaborate. This one we'll go into details when we go into deeper chapter. Okay. The main things here is that you need to know the theories, know the points, then you need to adapt to the question. Last semester, I come up with one question with milk production. Most of the class, they score quite low in that question. They score, the question is 25 marks. I asked them to design for a new milk products. Fantastic, they can cover all the theories, but they do not apply the theory for milk. They discuss something else. They go through the theories. They mention, for example, they mention all these points, but they do not mention how to apply on the milk. So most of the class, they get 15 out of 25. Because I cannot find example of the theory that they mentioned inside the answer. They keep going around and around and around, but they doesn't apply that one in the question scenario. So don't fall into this careless mistake. So this is how you score in this module. All right, now next we talk about successful projects. Right? What I mean by successful projects? You need to achieve a few things. And we'll keep repeating all this throughout the semester. How you know it is a successful projects? Who have the final say? This one you have to bear in mind. Who have the final say that it is successful? If you are the project manager, who have the final say? Let's say Nike shoes new products. You are the factory who help them to launch the project. Who have the final say that this is a successful project? Who is the client? Nike. Your customers, they are your final say whether it's successful or not. Although if within the company, maybe the quality you think is not very good. In your QA department, even the report is failed. That means the torrent out of the torrent already. But if the customer say, oh, it's so beautiful, very good, it's also considered successful. Because in the dimension of project management, as long as your customer say it is successful, means it's successful already. Doesn't care what happened within your company or within the process. So that is the main idea you need to remember throughout the semester. Okay, so these are a few criteria. What are the customers look at? First, they look at time, cost, time and money, time and cost, and this one within the expected performance or technology level, mean the specification. You meet what customer want, right? Then you utilize the resources effectively and efficiently. This is in terms of as a project manager, you need to make sure you use up all the resources effectively, because you need to manage all the resources. What are the resources? You as a project manager is all the functional units here. How you manage? Through functional managers. You don't go again now. You as a PM, you don't go down to the operator, ask them what to do. You just go to you need to negotiate, make friends with all these leaders. Yeah. This is your things. Then having result accepted by the customer. This is the most important point. Okay. So again, but these are the criteria of how you know is a successful management. It must meet the objective, it must meet the time and cost, these three. Meet objective including specification and all this. Objective, time, and cost. These three main points. Then the rest is just elaboration on that. You look assessment on your resources, and at the end, you accepted by the customers. Right. So these are the three things lah for successful project management. Okay, now just now I talk about benefit, right? So these are the benefit that I'm looking at in the project management sense. So these are the things you read lah. So first one, benefit of the effective project management. This is not project success. Don't confuse with project success, project process, and all this. Go very detailed for this one. Project management. When you have an effective project management, what are the benefits that you have? You as a project manager, you able to manage your project well. What are the benefits? That is this slide means. So don't confuse with the keyword there. Again, this module, the question is more likely to ask you what are the benefits, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages of something. This module like to ask this kind of question. What are the benefit? What are the disadvantages? What are the risks? For example, right? Okay, benefit. You have a clear clarification of the responsibility. For example, if you have a clear project management, they know what need to do. Because in the company, maybe you have a lot of projects, and you are a company who doing maybe laptops assembly. You have lots of brands, different. Let's say you have 5 brands that you assembly, or 5 let's say you automotive assembly factory. You assembly for 5 different models, for example. So a successful or effective project management, there is a clear functional responsibility of each functional groups here. They know what they need to do, and so on. Why? Because all this stuff, sometimes they share responsibilities in different projects. Some stuff they involve in only one brand. Some department they involve three brand and so on. So clear functional responsibility. Effective project management also reduce the continuous reporting. Means that if you have a good system or good project management, you don't need to always have meetings. You don't need to update your progress. Nowadays, we already have a software or software platform in the industry where you can monitor the progress. The best one I've seen is Petronas. They can see real-time progress in all their pipeline. Pipeline means from the design stage until the production oil platform overseas, offshores. If you have opportunities, you can go into the center at KLCC. There's a Petronas Center, Intelligence Center there. You can monitor up to a sensor at the offshore in Arabic in the open ocean. They can know what happened to that sensor, and if that sensor broke down, they trigger something. They can solve it in the real time. They even have a software to monitor, to observe the situation. They can flip a switch at KLA to close a valve at ocean somewhere, anywhere in the world. So they have this technology there. Okay, so this one is continuous. You don't need to continuous reporting. Also, you also have clear messages in your scheduling. You know when you need to deliver. For example, if you assembly cars, you need to know at what time you need to assembly what. For example, then you know how to do trade-off analysis, because in the effective project management, you have a clear sense of direction, what value or parameter when you do analysis. So in this module, we won't go deep into this trade-off analysis, but we will keep mentioning this one. Trade-off means you let go of something. Okay. Then accomplishment, problems, future planning, and so on. Here you see you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Normally the question we won't expect you to memorize all. If on the slide here got 8, normally we only request 50% from here, or at least minimum 3 from here. Sometimes the question asks you, what is the potential benefit of an effective management? List 4. Or straight away the question asks you, list 4 potential benefit from an effective project management. You answer from here lah. Okay, so your answer will be, you write 1, like 2, this one, 3, this one, 4, this one. Okay. So again, I'm looking for keyword that I highlight in yellow color. Make sure you use the keyword here. Okay, let's say in the exam you forget what is the keyword already. Then how you solve this one? You can write what you understand or what you want to say, and then you can give an example. Give an example. If you forget the keyword you just give you an example. So make sure the example also related. If you give the wrong example, also you cannot score 4 marks. Okay. So of course, all this you need to consider This is the risk management. So there are obstacles, for example, complexity of the projects, organization restructuring. This one is happening a lot, especially there's a merging of a company. So for example, telco one, they merged Celcom and somebody, right? PGA with something. And then recently, Asia also restructuring their Asia X business entity, just announced, I think, yesterday by their chairman, Tony. All right. So when you do organization restructuring, it will change the way you manage your projects, project risk, and so on. So these are we call it the boundary limits, the factor that affect your project management. Okay, so this need to highlight. So again, potential benefit. What are the potential benefit of effective project management? It's all this. Okay. Or you will see this keyword we will repackage this one. For example, you give you a scenario. A HR department recently appointed Mr. Kamal as a project manager. So, and in his assessment, he's managed to, in his management, he managed to, in the assessment as a successful project manager, you as a HR, or what are the criteria to assess the benefit of a successful project management by Mr. Kamal? So you mentioned 4 from here, 4 out of 8 here, for example. So you read it will link somewhere to this one. Although my slides is I already simplify everything from a very lengthy paragraph. So these are the points for your revision. Okay. So what else? Okay. So I'll show you this, then we continue this one on Friday. This one is the gap that we have. So in typical company, you have management gap, means you go by level. So you have a top management, you have a middle management, you have supervisors, you have operators or normal staff. So top management, if they do not communicate with the middle management, then there is a gap between the top and the middle management, right? Then the supervisors, if they do not communicate, then there's a gap there. So the planning and the scheduling will have a gap. Means if the top management policy say 1 week, if that is the gap, miscommunication, then the planning maybe become 2 weeks. Then here scheduling maybe become 3 weeks, and so on. Then labor operation, maybe the labor or relax. When they cut, then when there's gap communication here, the labor, maybe the staff or operator think, or don't need so rush lah. We have a 1 month to go, slowly do lah. So these are the gap. It's called management gap. So when the question asks you about the management, the organization gap, you just need to copy this slide. Just draw this one. First one is management gap. You just copy whatever you see on the slides here. You just copy, put inside the answer. This is management gap. Then this one, functional gap. Functional gap, again, you see the word functional, it means department. It means the normal word department. But again, in project management module, we do not use department, we use functional. So if you see this department gap, it means there is a departmentization, or department doesn't talk with each other. R&D doesn't talk with engineering, and finance doesn't talk with all these things. So it means they in their own world. Then it form functional gaps. The worst things in the companies is there is two kind of gap: management gap plus functional gap. It will become operational island. So you become island. Yeah, I hope you can imagine. This shape plus this shape, you get this shape. Okay. Now, operation islands is the most dangerous organization gap, because it's totally have a communication breakdowns up to the unit itself. Means the unit is just do their own things. This is the worst part. The worst gap organization gap. Okay, so I think for today we do not go very deep. Just introduction. See you guys on Friday. We stop here. Sign your this one first. So yeah, okay, I stop the recording first.